Wednesday looks like another week for DC domination. Does Marvel have anything to hold back the tidal wave of DC Rebirth, or does an independent book have a chance at making a dent? What's up, everybody? I'm Stan, and welcome to Detail Comics, where we go over comics in detail. This is Preview Picks, where I give you a rundown of what's coming out this week, so that way you can take a look at them and see if there's something you want to buy when you go to the shop on Wednesday. To start off with, I'm going to go through a few independent titles. The Black Monday Murders is coming out with issue 2. This is by Jonathan Hickman, and overall, I loved the first book so much that I'm probably going to have to do a review for issue 1 and issue 2. Next, we also have The Fix number 5, which is starting off a brand new story arc, and if it's anything like the insane first 4 issues, I can't wait to start reading it. Also, we're going to go into Marvel to see what they've got coming out this week, and it looks like Black Panther 6 is headlining what we have here now. So the conclusion of the story arcs is kind of up in the air, but this is the halfway point for Ta-Nehisi Coates and his foray into the Black Panther universe. So it's interesting to see how we're going to get, over the hump and into the next set of story arcs to close out his run on this book. Then we go to Civil War II, Amazing Spider-Man issue 4, which is a Civil War II tie-in that I'm pretty much picking up just because I'm a Spider-Man fan. Overall, Christos Gage does a great job, and it's interesting to see how this is going to wrap up. Also, we've got something I can no longer call a guilty pleasure in Gwenpool number 6. So, even though Gurihiru is no longer doing the artwork for the inside of the book, he's taking a break on this, it's still something that Mr. Hastings is writing to perfection, and overall, I dig Gwenpool better than I dig Deadpool, and that's saying a lot. Finally, for Marvel, I'm going to close it out with Spider-Man issue 8, which sees us kind of dive headfirst into the Civil War II conflict, and it looks like we're setting the stage for the Champions book that's going to be coming out next month. So this could be a good transition piece to pick up if you want to get into that title, which is going to be one of the flagships for Marvel and Marvel Now 2.0. While it looks like we've maximized the offerings from Marvel, now we're going to get into the DC Rebirth titles that are continuing on or being introduced. So we've got Action Comics 963, where we start the story of Clark Kent. Not Superman, but Clark Kent, the person with no powers. So that should be pretty interesting. Also, we're going to hop into All-Star Batman number 2, written by Scott Snyder, with John Romita Jr. on there. Overall, it's a very good book because Snyder writes a good Batman, and ultimately, you gotta love this Jock cover because Batman's gonna put boot to face, and it's awesome. Jock just crushes every cover that he's on, so definitely pick up the variant for that if you have the opportunity. Next, we've got Batgirl and the Birds of Prey issue 2, which is dropping, and overall, very good series. It's not necessarily something that I'm picking up on the regular, but I'm going to continue to give it a shot for the time being, just to see where it kind of goes. But I have been a little bit disappointed with some of the art choices, which is why it's kind of, not necessarily a big pickup book for me. Then I hop into Deathstroke number 2, and Slade Wilson is a bastard. That's the best thing I can say about this book, because Christopher Priest is writing him as a genuine D-bag. And it's awesome and kind of unfortunate at the same time, because it's just like, I really don't want to really read a story about a bad guy, but he's writing him as a really bad guy, just down to his core, which is kind of cool. Then we get into Detective Comics 940, which shows the conclusion of the introductory arc from James Tynion IV. This is going to be the last book in this arc before we hop into Monster Men, and overall, you got to wonder if Red Robin's going to make it out of here alive based on what you saw in the last book. That's going to be pretty interesting. Now we're going to hop into Doom Patrol number 1, which is the first book from Gerard Way's new kind of young animal imprint on DC. So I have no idea what to expect out of this book, but it's definitely something that I'm going to be picking it up. And this cover is like a play on the original, peel slowly and see kind of cover for the Velvet Underground, which is kind of cool. It's a burrito. It's funky. So I'll see what that has up its sleeve for me. Next, I want to tackle a few of the first books that came out with DC's Rebirth, and that is Flash number 6, which shows us the continuation of the Godspeed arc, and this is going to be one of the longest arcs out of any of the introductory Rebirth storylines, simply because if it doesn't conclude right now, how long is it going to go? It's one of those things where it's like, is it 5 issues? Is it 6 issues? It's got to be at least 6 issues because we're on issue 6. Is it 7? Is it 8? Is it 9? Is it going to be the first 12? So all those kind of things unfold. Then we also have Green Lanterns number 6, which is kind of seeing the conclusion of the first story arc, and now it's going to get back into a little bit more personal interaction between Jessica and Simon, and there's a lot of really good books to be picked up. Green Lanterns is unfortunately one of those books that I kind of put on the back burner, primarily because of the next book, which is, Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, issue 4. Overall, Hal Jordan is a very good book. It's being written very well, and it's a little bit more galactic. It's a little bit more of what I expect out of the Green Lanterns. Getting down to the last few books from DC, we see Suicide Squad number 2 with art by Jim Lee. So this is supposed to be Philip Tan and Jim Lee kind of alternating back and forth. So, I'm always interested to see what Mr. Lee has to put on paper. That should be pretty interesting. Then we're going to hop on to Superwoman number 2. And after issue 1, I'm super interested to see where this one's going to go. And ultimately, if you have the opportunity, pick up the Terry Dodson cover, because overall, the first one was great. It was like a magnet, man. It just attracted you to the book and made you kind of pick it up. And this one's no different. Having met Terry Dodson, super good dude, and ultimately I'm a really big fan of his work. Another book that I'm a pretty big fan of right now is Wonder Woman. And Wonder Woman 6 is the third part of the year 1 storyline that Greg Rucka's writing. So they're doing that whole split story thing. So you've got 3 issues into the first arc, which is kind of like current day, and this is the 3rd issue into the alternate arc, which is kind of like an origin story for Wonder Woman. Overall, I'm really enjoying what this has to offer, and if you have the opportunity to pick it up, grab the Frank Cho variant cover, because overall, he does a great Wonder Woman. It's a very good art style. It's very complete. I really like the way that this cover looks, and it's probably the last cover that he's going to be doing as a variant for the Wonder Woman titles. For quite a while, if Greg Rucka is going to keep writing them. But overall, it's great. The last thing I would recommend, it's not a comic book, it is Titans Hunt, the trade paperback. So this is interesting because the whole premise of Titans Hunt is the lead-in to where we're at with DC Rebirth. So it's almost a direct tie-in, because after Convergence, there was this whole kind of vision of a Titans group that had never been. And that's what the whole Titans Hunt situation plays off of, and then you tie into like the Twister and all this kind of stuff, and then this book includes the whole run of Titans Hunt, as well as Justice League 51, which gives you a lot of Dick Grayson backstory regarding him and Batman and the Justice League, and then also Titans Rebirth number 1, which is the reintroduction of Wally West. So it's a great way to get up to speed, mostly without having the DC Rebirth number 1 issue. So to get up to speed with what's going on with DC Rebirth now and where it kind of started. So that's a great spot to, pick up that trade paperback. So those are the books I'm picking up this week, but I want to know what you're picking up too, because DC is absolutely destroying my wallet this week. Hit me up in the comments down below and we can start that conversation. As always, if you like what you see, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more news, reviews, and commentary on comic books, comic book movies, TV shows, games, and anything and everything inside the world of comics.